Hey everyone, Miguel here with SoCal Watch Reviews. It's so good to see the team back. I hope you are having a fantastic week. I hope you are crushing it. I want to inspire other people to just get behind the camera and just do any video. It doesn't have to be about watches. It could be about anything. I promise you that when you get behind the camera, you feel empowered, right? And when you're in control, it feels good because that transcends into different parts of your life and your existence. And what we want to do in this life is to inspire others. At least in my case, that's what it is. But today I want to discuss a topic that's been a bit controversial, and we've actually discussed previously on the podcast, and that's the idea of supporting Kickstarter watch brands. I know they've been around for a while, but man, it just seems like they've been flooding the market in the last year since I started watch collecting. A few years back, I remember not seeing that many brands, and then all of a sudden it's just like the explosion of brands. But you know, we've seen some really cool watches, some success stories, and Second Hour Watches is one of those success stories. I've reviewed pretty much, I believe, all their watches, so check my videos. I'll leave links so you can go check them out. So when they reached out to me and said, hey, we have this new company called First Stage, it's a more affordable take on watches. It's a separate company, it's a sister company, and they teamed up with this very famous modder, Jack Hypoxia. So he's pretty big on Instagram, pretty cool mods. So in essence, what they have created, or they're going to launch, is an SKX 007 mod, if you will. So it's the same case dimensions as the SKX. And yeah, I'm going to discuss some of the pros, some of the cons of supporting these brands. But real quickly, let's go into this watch, because when I posted a picture of this on my Instagram account, holy smokes, I got a ton of comments and people messaging me saying that is a cool watch. We love the dial. We love the concept behind it. And it's pretty cool. I mean, obviously it's going to come in different color iterations. And this is obviously the Tiffany dial, if you will, and it's huge. Obviously everybody knows that because of the Rolex OP and the Patek and whatnot. So if this is your cup of tea and you want to get a watch that's in the $500 range with a Tiffany dial, this is a real good one to pick up. So let's go real quickly into the specs of this watch. This watch does measure in at 42.5 millimeters. It has a crown at 4 o'clock. It's a case thickness of 13.76 millimeters, and that's including, of course, the double dome sapphire crystal. Has a lug to lug of 46 millimeters. Of course, the whole watch is constructed of 316L stainless steel. Well, everything is the case, the crown, the case back, the bracelet, and the clasp. It does have water resistance of 300 meters. So that is very good to see in this watch. It does feature applied indices all throughout. Hands are very well constructed. I love that it's all, brushed stainless steel with that kind of paddle style seconds hand. It really kind of reminds me a little bit of the SPB 143, if I'm being honest, but it's cool. The rehod matches the color of the dial, and of course the star of the show is that dial. It does feature a lot of different, I don't know if that's sharks. It looks like sharks and dolphins and all kinds of cool fish swimming around the dial. A little bit of text on the dial. First Stage, of course, on top at the 12 o'clock. Shoal Deep at the 6 o'clock, and the word automatic in red. So really cool design. And yeah, this bezel, it's a good bezel. It's 120 clicks. It's ceramic. So yeah, it has a 12-hour indication, but I believe you could get it in a different indication as well. It's a bit of a coin edge right here, and it's easy to grip, easy to turn. Everything lines up. I like it. Crown at 4 o'clock. It's easy to screw in, easy to screw out. It is signed. The whole watch feels really good. On the case back, we do see that same format that they gave us on that dial. You actually see it on the back, so it's really cool to see that they went the extra mile to do that. This beats of style bracelet, it's really nice. I used to not like this style of bracelets, but it definitely grew on me throughout the years. Solid links, solid end links, screws to size the bracelet. We do find a mill clasp, and the clasp itself has been engraved First Stage. Easy to operate on the wrist, 6 and 7/8 inch wrist. It fits really good, really good. I mean, pretty much like my Seiko SKX, and I like that, right? So I mean, it's what, 46 millimeters from lug to lug. Not huge. I think this could be a great watch for both men and women. Like I said, it comes in different color iterations. My personal favorite is a DLC coated one. That thing is actually really nice. The movement that this guy has, it's actually a Miyota movement. So it's a 90-39 Miyota movement with 24 joules. It beats at 28,800 BPH, and it has about 42 hours of power reserve. And to be honest with you, I am glad that a lot of microbrand companies stopped going the NH route and started going the Miyota route, especially the 9000 series. It's a great movement, really comparable with the ETA movements, and it's a great watch for 500 bucks. You can't go wrong with this one. Obviously, if you get a Seiko, right, you may argue, well, I could just get a Seiko and mod it. That's going to cost you an arm and a leg. Number one, to get the Seiko, the SKX. And yeah, you could argue that you could go with Mark and the stuff that he's doing, which is really cool. But this is different. Obviously, the dial design and the bracelet and everything, it's different from what he's doing. And it's respected because this is a modded SKX in essence. Lume is pretty good on it. Actually, we find lume on the indices and the bezel. And the lume that these guys are using is actually real Swiss BGW9 Super Luminova, which is super cool. Plenty of it, and like I said, these styles are fun. It's a fun watch. But back to the topic at hand, and that is, should you support Kickstarter brands? Well, this time around, I'm going to say yes for them, just because I know they're backed up by a bigger brand, which is Second Hour Watches, and I know them personally, and I know if they've delivered all the goods. Haven't had a bit of an issue, but they corrected that issue real quick because the owner stepped it up and he made it right. So I could 100% tell you that you could definitely stand behind this brand. But overall, man, I've reviewed some watches, and I won't name many names, but I have reviewed some watches that have taken over a year after they got funded to get everything going. And I know COVID played a big part in that, but still, it's kind of scary, right? That your money's kind of allocated somewhere and it's taking so long to get back. And so I would just say, do your research. Maybe even if you want to pay a little bit more to just pay for the watch once it comes out, once it gets funded. In my opinion, I would do that. But that's just me because that's my money. It's kind of a hard question to answer. It just kind of goes to that question of, do I spend the money on a brand that's well known? And even if it's a micro brand, right? Like a Notice or Monta or something like that, or a Brew that been around in the market, or Second Hour that been around in the market, and you know they're there, they have them on their website. Do you go with that, or do you go with a new brand? Well, it all depends really on aesthetics and how the watch speaks to you. But to play it safe, I would really recommend everybody do your research, ask a lot of questions, maybe wait it out a little bit, kind of see what's going on. So that's my 2 cents. Just be careful. You do find some gems out there, but there is some not so great things going on in the market. And I'll let the cat out of the bag a little bit. I can elaborate a little bit more maybe on my podcast. But about a year and a half ago, I was actually looking into starting my own brand, just because I love doing this video and the channel and everything, but I really wanted to take it a step further and actually create my own brand. I came out with design, not just me, a group of friends, and we spoke to some investors, we spoke to people overseas, and believe me, once you get into the details of what it is to create a watch, I completely 100% understand why people need to go the Kickstarter route. And if I'm being honest, we were actually going to go that route because we didn't have $100,000 plus to just put down and say, all right, let's make this happen and get prototypes. And the thing is, you're dealing with these Chinese companies, nothing wrong with them, but they're so far away that you need to wait months upon months to get renderings and the actual watch. And then once you get it, if you don't like something, you have to send it back and then pay again and then pay again, and kind of pray that it doesn't get lost. So I completely understand why a lot of these companies kind of go the route of Kickstarter, because it's a way to kind of, not be out of pocket a lot of money. And it's a scary situation from that perspective, from the backseat, from behind the scenes. And believe me, when you do YouTube and you start getting into the space, you see a lot of things that maybe a lot of you guys will never see. Some not so pretty things, and you meet a lot of people that are not so nice. So don't believe everything you see, don't believe everything you hear. Ask a lot of questions. If you have any questions for me, I'm always an open book. You could send me a DM at SoCal Watch Reviews on my Instagram. But to wrap it up, do your due diligence. It's kind of where I'm going to wrap it up. And yeah, this is a cool watch for the money. It gives us a lot of good specs. Go check them out. I'll leave a link to their product. But yeah, support me if you haven't already. Subscribe to the channel. We are growing. Thank you so much. I can't believe how much the channel has grown. I really thank you from the bottom of my heart. I hope everybody has a blessed week. And remember, just keep grinding it out. And if you have a watch in mind, or a house, or a car, just go for it. Don't take no for an answer. Keep your head up, and the best cheerleader that you have in life is you. And if you need a cheerleader, hey, reach out to me and reach out to P. Ross. I know he's a very animated character in a positive way, because that's how he is in real life. Every time I speak to him, he cheers me up. Omar, David Schwartz, I mean, the list goes on. We have a lot of people in our inner circle. But anyway, guys, if you need some support, emotional support, or whatever. I know this turned into a therapy session. But anyway, take care and stay humble.